And wow, what a hell of a show that was. Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your set. I'm Hitman Cos. Welcome to your official review for Halloween Havoc 2022. And of course, I'm not alone in this endeavor. Please welcome, as always, the co-host, the humble man Gary. Gary, welcome to the contracts.
Yo, what up, my man? Cos Peyton. What up, bro?
You already know, man. Ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's do this shit like Brutus.
Yeah. But before we get into this, we do have to apologize for bringing this out late. We both had shit we needed to do and couldn't get to this in time. But we're here right now, so yeah.
Yeah, our deepest apologies.
Anyway, they decided to start off the right way with the ladder match for the NXT North American Championship. And although it wasn't at the level of the NXT TakeOver New Orleans match, it didn't need to be, because this one did, in my opinion, lived up to expectations.
Right. Oh man, why is that?
Yeah, because there was some great spots as usual. It was damn near 1,000 miles a minute. Very, very satisfying. I could barely keep myself contained by how great it was.
Oh, I thought you said like I thought you said, oh yeah, met your expectations. You said.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it kind of didn't. I'm sorry, I'm wilding. When we spoke earlier and said it was great, yeah, that was one hell of a match. A lot of high flyings, and oh my god, that's one of my main favorite matches of that night, honestly speaking.
I enjoyed the ladder spot. I think, what's his face, that dude Von Wagner went through a ladder.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, freaking. The most memorable spot was when freaking Nathan Fraser hit Carmelo Hayes with a I guess you could say a reverse Spanish fly onto a ladder. Yeah, that was absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah, it really was.
And I'll admit, I thought it was a little funny at the spot where freaking Trick Williams and Robert Stone tried to climb up the ladder.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And of course, Trick was hesitating because he's afraid of heights. And this dude, Mr. Stone, freaking popped Trick in the head with one of his shoes. And
crazy.
And it actually did knock him off the ladder, but Trick pushed the ladder over, so his success didn't last long. Pretty much everybody minus Von Wagner was able to showcase their high flying ability,
Right.
And when it was all said and done, it was down to Carmelo Hayes and Wes Lee. Wes Lee eventually got the upper hand and was able to capture the title, winning the match. And I'll admit, even though he really wasn't my pick to win, he was very deserving, considering everything that's happened to him. This was the big payoff for him, in my opinion, considering all he's been through.
Right.
Because, he, at one point this year, he was on top of the world, recapturing the NXT tag titles, only to get stripped of them because freaking Nash Carter got fired. But
Oh yeah.
But it is what it is, and and I'm pretty. And even if he hasn't said it, I know that he definitely won the title for Carter,
Oh, of course.
You know, and where he goes from here with it, you know, we'll see.
Right.
Now, before we go to the next match, backstage, I guess, you know, they sort of started a match with Mandy Rose and Alba Fire with their Weapons Wild match, where they were first in a haunted house. I think they're gonna have this be a tradition for Halloween Havoc of them using a haunted house.
Right, exactly.
But anyways, so there was that, and when Toxic Attraction went into the haunted house, you know, I noticed, you know, each member of Toxic Attraction acted differently to the haunted house. Where JC Jane was scared shitless. Mandy Rose was, I'd say she was indifferent. Whereas Gigi Dolan was having fun and she was enjoying it. And needless to say, she wasn't scared at all.
Right.
Of course, that changed once she ran into Alba Fire and she threw her into the freezer.
Exactly.
But anyways, moving on to the next match. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller in a casket match. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know when they spun the wheel, but I wish we would have saw. I mean, unless they did it at the pre-show, you know.
Right.
You know, and if they didn't, then you know, yeah, you know, still would have been nice to see it. Anyways, I'll admit, despite how I'll say this match was alright, but there was something that really annoyed me about this match. I know the rules about it was that you had to, you know, put your opponent in it and close the lid, but in my eyes, Grayson Waller technically won that match. Because if you remember, there was that spot where they were both on the top turnbuckle, and then he pushed Apollo Crews off of it till she landed right into the casket.
Right. Yeah, that's a fact.
And sure, yeah, you know, he had to close the lid and whatnot, but he broke through the lid and was inside the casket. In my eyes, that still should have counted.
Right.
But instead, the Druids came out and brought an even bigger casket, which allowed Apollo Crews to save face and win the match. Honestly, in my opinion, because of that screwy finish, it really ruined the match for me, and it honestly made it worse than what it was. So yeah, that could have been better.
Oh yeah, I understand perfectly.
But you know, hopefully this will be the end of that feud, and they both move on to something more meaningful that people will care about.
Right. Exactly.
Moving on. Oh wait, no, my bad. Freaking Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade had the Weapons Wild match. Mandy Rose and Alba Fire were just doing the theatrics. But anyways, moving on to Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade. I'll admit, I was, even though this match was watchable, that's the most I can put it. It's watchable because it was called the Weapons Wild match, but you know, I didn't see much variety of weapons.
All right.
I mean, besides the skateboard, you know, that's about it. You know, you saw typical weapons that you normally see in a match where anything goes, you know. And
Right.
and in my opinion, we didn't see much innovation, you know, with the weapons. They didn't get they didn't at least try to get creative while using them.
Right.
And I couldn't help but notice there was a pretty bad botch where Cora Jade put the trash can on Roxanne Perez, and then I think and she was trying to do something with it, but it just wasn't working, so she just kicked it.
Right.
It just looked bad all around. And you know, I'm not one to criticize someone's finisher that much. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm capping. I am one to criticize people's finisher, depending on how it looks. Roxanne Perez has got to get a better finisher because her sunset flip powerbomb just does not look devastating enough to be a finisher. It's exactly how I feel when it comes to when it came to Bailey's Bailey to Belly or freaking Trish Stratus's Stratusfaction. Like, the move looks way too weak to be considered a finisher. She's got to come up with something else.
Right.
And not only that, freaking, in my opinion, they only gave her that finisher, in my opinion, to was just for the fact that Zelina Vega was injured and that was her finisher. But because she wasn't on TV, they could get away with it. And plus, you know, she was on the main roster. But even still.
Right.
But, you know, even with her, it still didn't look that good. But it is what it is. You know. This might be the end of that feud. I'm not sure.
Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. I'm wondering. Honestly speaking, I enjoyed that match too, and it made more sense for Roxanne is the one that won, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense for Roxanne to get the win this time, seeing as how she lost the last time.
Yeah. So yeah, it was an alright match for me. Again, for me, disappointing. Didn't live up to the hype that it could have lived up to, but you know.
I got you.
Then just before we get to the next match, you know, I think it cut to Alba Fire with Toxic Attraction again, where JC and Gigi both got out of their predicaments. Gigi got out the freezer, JC got out of wherever she was, and they tried to attack Alba Fire, but she fought them off, and then she put an unconscious Mandy Rose into her car, and then drove to the arena. Then, now moving on, we have Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match, where if Julius loses, Brutus Creed would have to leave NXT. Now, this match was really good. These two definitely brought their A game to the match, you know, and it was getting pretty brutal, man. I can't front.
Yeah, it was.
Freaking, I can't, and like, yo, I especially was cringing when freaking Damon kept slamming the ambulance door on Julius's hand, man. Yeah, you ever have your hand closed in something?
Oh yeah.
Like, that shit hurts, man. And for him to have his hand slammed into that, man, like, man, that man has some serious toughness, man.
It's a fact.
I mean, he ain't. I mean, I'm not sure if he's Mick Foley or Haku tough, but he's definitely tough as shit.
Oh yeah, he is.
But I'll tell you what, he was also dishing it as good as he was taking it. So like that. So let's not diminish that.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
But I will admit, Damon had a few more memorable spots. Well, but I will admit there was something that was a bit of a botch in my opinion, where Julius tried to go for a move, but then he got hit in the face with well, not hit in the face, but Damon used the fire extinguisher, and it's used to blind him, but he still got hit with a double foot stomp.
Oh yeah.
So I know he was meant to maybe miss or something like that. So yeah.
Right.
And but I will say this, even though it wasn't as powerful or impactful, when he kept hitting Damon with all those chair shots, it reminded me a little bit of The Rock versus Mankind at King of the Ring. Remember that I Quit match where Mankind was handcuffed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, the chair shots weren't as hard as The Rock hit Mankind, but they were close.
Right.
And I'll admit, when he was carrying Damian Kemp on his shoulder to put him in the ambulance, I expected Kemp to counter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Like, in my opinion, if Kemp wanted it to look more believable of Julius winning, he should have had his arms down, looking all limp and whatnot, instead of still holding himself in place.
Right. That would have been cute, yeah, bro.
But doesn't matter. Julius still won, which means Brutus is still here to stay, and Diamond Mine is still standing, so to speak.
Right.
Now, after that, all the theatrics came to a head as Mandy Rose defended the NXT Women's title against Alba Fire. This match, the match itself was pretty short. In my opinion, I think it had to be short just because of how much of the theatrics that was taking over the show in between matches.
Right.
But I know they had to be tired and whatnot, but even still, this match could have been better. But and honestly, even though it wasn't on long, they could have still done more with the lack of time.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. I agree.
And some might think I'm asking for too much, but I'm really not. But I've seen some matches that were literally this long, if not shorter, that satisfied me more because of how much they were able to fit in such a short time.
Right.
But in the end, somehow, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane were able to make it to the arena. Vic Joseph is a fucking idiot, questioning how Gigi made it to the arena, still thinking she was locked in the freezer because his dumbass obviously didn't see when Alba was being attacked by Gigi and JC after Gigi was put into the freezer. So obviously she got out long before they got to the arena. I mean, come on, man.
Exactly.
But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I think there was either the ref was distracted or there was a ref bump. either one of the no, there was a ref bump, and during then, freaking Gigi and JC hit Alba with the high low, then rolled Alba into the ring, then Mandy Rose hit her with the V trigger to retain the NXT Women's title.
Right.
And honestly, I don't know what she calls that move, and until I find out what she calls it, it's still the V trigger to me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe she can call it the M trigger, but then again, Kenny Omega didn't name the V trigger after himself. So naming it the M trigger wouldn't make sense.
Right, that's correct.
So we'll stick with V trigger for now. Well, I will.
Right.
Nah, but with all that aside, the moment everybody was waiting for, the moment I was marking out for, but even though it hadn't happened yet, it was main event time. Oh, actually, no, before it was main event time, there's something else I gotta bring up, and that was, of course, the hosts of the show, Shotzi and Quincy Elliott, were cutting a promo in the ring before being interrupted by Lash Legend. Then Quincy said something slick to her, to which then Shotzi then beat her up, and that was it. One thing I noticed, if you were listening on commentary, Booker does not like Quincy Elliott at all.
Oh yeah.
But and Booker should not apologize for who he is. He will always give his opinion on something, and he won't hold back. But that's one of his best qualities.
Exactly.
But yeah, he does not like Quincy Elliott at all.
Right.
Anyways, on to the main event. We have Braun Breaker defending the NXT Championship against Ilya Dragunov and JD McDonough in a triple threat match. Oh my god, this match was so nuts. First off, I think it goes without saying that regardless of how many matches they had on NXT UK, it's obvious that Ilya and JD can tear the house down just by themselves.
Right.
Because honestly, I don't know who was trying to kill themselves more, between them two.
Right.
And JD, in my opinion, especially, was showing how good he can hang with the main eventers, and further proved how, in my opinion, he should have won the match. I loved when he hit that standing Spanish fly onto Ilya onto the matted floor. That was a thing of beauty.
Right.
But Ilya, my God, how stiff does this guy hit people? Like,
oh yeah, that.
Like, honestly, like I know freaking JD is at least looks stiff when he strikes, but this nigga JD, I know this nigga has to be hitting niggas with stiff ass shots, and of course that's that strong style coming out of him. But like, Jesus, man.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But I tell you what, man, JD, even though he didn't win this match, he was doing some very, very smart things.
He was.
He was definitely using his brain, but and it definitely showed, considering that he wasn't the one that was pinned.
Right, that's correct.
But then again, it doesn't matter in a triple threat match, because you don't have to be pinned. You don't have to be involved during the situation to lose the match.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I thought that was real good. I thought that was real clever, where freaking Ilya had Braun right where he wanted him. he connected with his finisher. It was gonna be over. Ref counted 1. Ref counted 2. And then just before the ref would count 3, JD grabbed his arm, preventing him from counting to 3.
Right.
And considering that he wasn't even in the camera shot, I was like, oh snap. Cause that shit came out of nowhere, and that was so smart, man.
It was.
And once Ilya was pissed off at him, I expected him to try and run away or cower out like how most heels do, but nah, he went face to face with him. But it eventually caught him. It eventually cost him because they rolled out the ring, and then this nigga Ilya again, freaking. He damn near knocked this fucker out with a headbutt, bro.
Yeah, he did.
But even though he didn't knock him out, it did keep him out for the rest of the match.
Yeah, Ilya did that too.
Then Ilya once again felt it was time to go in for the kill. Cause he felt he was in the driver's seat, was about to hit his finisher once again, but he got surprised with a spear from Braun Breaker. And it was enough to win the match and retain the title. Absolutely great match, wonderful main event. I will say Braun Breaker has definitely gotten a lot better in the ring, but I'm sorry, man. He got outshined in this match by both of them. I'm sorry. He's improved in the ring. He did good in this match. But he got outshined big time by Ilya and JD.
Right.
And I'll admit, despite the great match, I was disappointed in the outcome. I wasn't mad, but I wasn't mad, but I was disappointed. Just because they put in more, just because of how much they outshined him, I felt they were more deserving of the title.
Right, no, I got you. I would have made you there.
But let me make something clear, because I couldn't stop looking at Twitter and Facebook, and let me make this clear to IWC. Braun was not carried in that match. He pulled his weight. Did he get outshined? Yes, but he did not get carried.
Right.
So I just want to get that off my chest. He pulled his weight. He did his thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, even though I'm not happy with it, he still did deserve to retain. Still wanted JD to win, but yeah, it was still good.
Right, that's correct.
But overall, I'd say the pay-per-view event was meh.
I got you.
I say meh because, opening match, banger. The following match, whack. Perez versus Jade, alright. Kemp versus Creed, good. It was good. Rose versus Fire, eh. But then the main event, banger, and it made up for the bad parts, but still, but still, the ending was disappointing, so it soured me a little bit. But overall, I can't complain about this pay-per-view. And Triple H has done a good job once again. Further fixing NXT from what Vince and Bruce Pritchard have done. No offense to Bruce Pritchard, but yeah.
Right, of course, yeah, it has been done.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of The Contracts. I definitely want to thank each and every one of y'all for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and chill with myself and the Humble Man. I definitely want to thank the Humble Man, as usual, for coming through, kicking his wrestling knowledge.
Yes, you know it, my man, Cuz Payton, of course. You know it. We'll be right back. We'll be right back at y'all this Wednesday or Thursday, giving our predictions for WWE Crown Jewel next Saturday.
Man, that thing's like right around the corner, man. I almost forgot about that. But then again, you always on top of things, man. Not me.
Yes, sir, man. You know it. We on all y'all. You know it, man. We stay with it.
Yep. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, by way of Struggle Vision Productions, it's the Hitman and the Humble Man. You know what I'm saying? And we out.
Right.
Peace.
Peace. We out of this bitch later.